All right. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here with another game of Invisible Sun in the Actuality Archives. I am your game master, Dan Gaston, MadSci DM on Twitter, and these are my wonderful players. So why don't we let them go around and introduce themselves and remind us of their character. And you are not seeing a Sam at the moment, but Sam will be joining us later after she gets back from Winter Fantasy and her long car ride back home. So we expect her to be joining us hopefully within the next 30 minutes to an hour or so, and she'll pop in. Yes, people are in some of the wrong spots. Thank you for pointing that out. I think we had
Thank you, Corey.
yeah, no, we had a rearrangement and I didn't notice, but that is easy to fix. So while these people go and introduce themselves, I will fix that. So why don't we start with Annie?
Hi, I'm Annie. I'm at Alphabet Seeds on Twitter. My character is Henrietta Delacour. She is what am I saying again? I'm a connected empath, the Order of Weavers, who disgorges creatures. Um, you heard that correctly. I've followed up weird stuff as a hobby. And that's me.
Excellent, excellent. And why don't we go to who's now also in the upper left where Annie just was with Corey?
Cool. My name is Corey Hickson. You can find me on the internet at the same spots. I am playing Alice. If you've read Alice in Wonderland, you've got a good hunch of who this character might be already. And she is a ardent maker who turns tales into reality. Um, and there's some cool things there with stuff that she's made that I think will come up. And yeah, that's me.
Excellent, excellent. And last but not least for now, uh, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I apologize for the interruption a second ago. I'm axolotl cure. I use he, they pronouns. I am playing Emma Elizabeth, these character sentences. Established stoic goetic who gauges adversaries. I'm never going to memorize that, ever.
Excellent.
I also apologize. I'm a little sick, so I apologize for any allergy sounds that may or may not.
That is totally acceptable, and if you need to get up at any point and get yourself tissue or whatever, by all means, feel free. That's what we're all about. Yes, I forgot to start that off, so thank you, Alex. I use he/him pronouns. Everyone else is posting them in chat for themselves and their characters, and excellent. So yes, we have quite a mixed bunch. I think we have every single order except the Vances represented, because everyone was throwing shade on the Vances.
Hot garbage.
They're actually pretty cool. I like their take on it. In this game, I'm not. I've stated on record, Vancing Magic's not my thing, but this game's take on Vancing Magic is actually kind of cool. All right. So last week, our characters had introduced themselves a little bit. Most of them live in Fartown, essentially in a old music venue bar that is now lovingly referred to as Dark Basement in Fartown, that is in the basement of a bodega. So the rest of the house, kind of the main floor is a bodega, and then I think probably the people who run the bodega live on sort of like the second floor, and then you guys all live in the basement. Alice actually lives in a disco ball that is larger on the inside that hangs in Dark Basement. So that is her house, and their neighbors are, basically Henrietta and Lucky, who is a squatter that hangs out at Henrietta's house. Whereas Emma Elizabeth, being a bit of the Visley aristocracy, actually lives in the Marquis district, which is the ritzy part of town, where they have a mansion that is constantly growing and is currently in the process of swallowing up their neighbor's property, which makes them not quite so happy. So we talked about everyone's character arcs, which is all kind of leading towards people doing crime, because that was everyone's desideratum, was to commit a heist, preferably at a party. So we will see exactly how that unfolds and how it ties into everyone's character arc. So most of last week was spent over the mystery of a picture that fell out of the ceiling, detailing apparently the previous owner of this club that was called Midnight's, and the eponymous owner was in fact a demon named Midnight, who was pictured with a goetic that Emma Elizabeth recognized, and they went to see the Oracle elsewhere on the edges of Fartown, who's willing to tell you where you can find Midnight, or at least where she sort of her last bit of information about Midnight's whereabouts. So as close as you can probably get. Hoping that you can somehow secure Dark Basement for your perpetual ownership, because the bodega upstairs insists that they own it. What Shara, the Goetic, wants in return was a book bound in black metal, because it's a very black metal album. The problem is that the bookstore owner, Nora of Nora's Notions, won't sell it to her. You don't know exactly why, but won't apparently sell it to her, and so she wants you to get it for her instead, and then she will get you the information, and you all immediately jump to, let's steal it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you guys had a little bit of food and some drinks and talked about it, and then we left off. So we can pick up, it doesn't have to be right after where we left you, because like we were talking about in chat, you all have day jobs and things, and there is no time pressure. There was no the Oracle didn't tell you that she needs it before the next turning of the invisible sun or anything like that. There was sort of no real time constraint. She just wants it. And so how long you spend on it's totally up to you folks. So why don't you tell me how much time has sort of passed? Let's assume that the last session kind of took place on what amounts to a weekend when you guys had some free time. I mean, Lucky doesn't really have a habitual job, but the rest of you kind of do. Or, you have money and investments or whatever that you manage.
Being pretty money.
Yeah. So, how much time has basically gone by before you guys circle back to discussing how you're going to get this book?
I don't know, maybe like a couple days or something. It seems like Henry's pretty anxious to get this taken care of, because she's a sort of an anxious person and doesn't want this hanging over her head, especially now that she can get proof that she can live there. So she's probably bugging the shit out of everyone else about when we can go scope out the bookstore and what we're gonna do with that. So I don't know how you all feel about that.
Alice is pretty ready to go scope this out and get involved and figure out how this whole crime situation works, because she's been thinking about it a lot and it's very excited. Although I don't think she's good with a few days. She'll preoccupy herself with different thoughts of different crimes if we do take a while.
Yeah.
Write some crime novels.
Ooh, yeah. Read a lot of Crime and Punishment without just over and over again.
Yeah. Are you good for a couple of days, Alex?
Yeah, a couple of days is fine. I was going to say, as long as it's more than a couple hours to refresh our pools and up to a week, I'd be fine with anything. Probably this is between lunch and dinner because I imagine Emma Elizabeth has appointments to keep
Yeah.
and she can hardly go off her social responsibilities to
How-
hide black metal books.
How often do you come out and visit?
Probably at most twice a week.
Okay,
Not incredibly often.
Fair enough.
yeah. We have to plan around that.
Yeah.
She comes out to slum it on the weekends in Dark
Right,
Basement,
yeah.
and like maybe once through the week, which is when you come to have like lunch on like a Wednesday with
Yeah.
with Henrietta.
Yeah.
God knows we don't need to work around Lucky's schedule.
Certainly not. I mean, if Lucky's around, then sure, yeah, we'll do it. But if not, then, no real way to track him down.
Yeah. So do we want to maybe go spend some of this like time after we've had some days and go like check it out? Case the place?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Henry would like to wear a disguise when
Okay.
to the bookstore, and that's a skill that I have is disguise.
Excellent. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Henry's disguise?
Okay. So normally she's got like sort of like a bob of like really pale blonde hair. She's gonna have that like sort of like pulled back a little bit. So that's in like a half ponytail, and then she's gonna wear like a really big scarf over top. I'm thinking like complete like 40s like spy movie situation, and then like sort of like oversized sunglasses and then another like really big scarf just like wrapped around like Eraserhead from My Hero Academia.
Oh god.
Okay.
But it's like a nice scarf. Like she doesn't want to look like she's sort of like she lives out on the streets. It's more like chic, like homeless chic kind of.
Right. Well,
Like
and yeah, and I mean they work in a like a fashion house, right? So
right. So yeah, mostly just like a lot of layers, so it's like difficult to see her face, but she could still hold a conversation, and she's still like generally person shaped still.
Okay.
She doesn't want to be recognized. Like she doesn't want someone to be like, "Oh, hey, you." Elbow.
Do you have a fake name that you wish to be called while you're disguised?
Ooh. It's really. Let's go with Chelsea.
Chelsea. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, I am too.
Cool.
Otherwise.
I'm gonna write it down too so I don't forget.
Okay. All right. And Emma, over like the last week, there's a few things that Emma Elizabeth has done after their experiences last week. So what has Emma purchased?
Well, after last week we got attacked by some rat goblins. I went out and bought myself a revolver. So I will be better prepared the next time we are jumped.
Excellent. And is there anything special about the revolver?
She probably wears it on because she wears like a sort of cuff around her birdcage.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that there's also probably like a chain attaching the revolver to like her person.
Okay.
She's generally a paranoid person to begin with. And it probably appears as solid gold, whether or not it actually is.
Yeah.
Probably is a matter of debate.
Right.
It looks that way.
Yeah.
And I like to imagine that instead of a gunshot, it's just like a horrible shrieking wail.
Excellent. I like it. So the revolver, appropriately enough, is called Shrieker.
Yes.
So Shrieker the revolver. Okay, excellent. I like it. All right. And so Alice has been reading crime novels all week,
Yeah.
or for the
I
last couple of days.
Yeah, I would also like to maybe start collecting some materials and stuff for for the future that I can
Okay.
start working some objects in my spare time.
Okay. So you've been doing some of that this week as well, visiting some shops and buying some
Hmm.
materials and that sort of thing.
Yeah, getting some stuff ready.
All right. And what's Alice looking sort of towards making? What kind of stuff?
Um, so Alice wants to make something that represents the concept of crime so that she can place it in her house.
Okay.
Um, one of her rooms is the Ace of Hearts, and I said that's where her heart lives.
Yep.
She wants to put crime into her heart.
I love
All
it.
right. I like that. So, yeah, so Alice wants to like really take on the sort of essence of crime.
Yes, quite literally, she
Yeah.
wants to do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But Alice is so sweet and wholesome.
that's going to be changing.
I feel like her cry would just end up being like, look, I stole these cookies, but then I gave them to orphans.
That's also a possibility. That's very likely.
Alice becomes the Robin Hood character of Fartown.
I'd watch it.
I would too.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So yeah, so you've spent some time and you've asked around and found out where Nora's Notions is, which is also in Fartown, which is convenient. Uh, and it's on the street it's on is called Silver Crown Lane.
Well, that sounds nice. This is a
It does.
nice street.
Mhm. Um, can you describe the building and the buildings immediately adjacent on either side?
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah. So if you're going there, you wind your way through the perpetual fall day that is the perpetual fall weather that is Fartown. So leaves are falling around you. You pass, a lot of Visley live while they work. They also seem to live a kind of relaxed upper middle class lifestyle. Even those people that aren't necessary, like even people like Lucky lives elements of a upper middle class professional lifestyle in that Visley don't seem to eat at home a lot. They really like cafes and restaurants, eating out, drinking, going to like nightclubs and performances and art and things like that are kind of really big in Fartown. So I was going to say, imagine an upper middle class Greenwich Village, but probably Greenwich Village is kind of skewing that way now already. Um, but surreal. And so it's a perpetual fall day. People are out and about, and you find your way to Silver Crown Lane. And so Silver Crown Lane is like a cobblestone street. It's quite quaint. It's narrow, so any vehicles traveling along it usually have to slow to a crawl and can only go one way. And it's really designed to be very friendly for pedestrians and people on things like bicycles. Although there's definitely people on things that are more like unicycles, and things like that, zipping around, magical segways and things like that. And so it's these cobblestone streets, and it has these corkscrew sort of lantern, like lamps, lining it that are all topped with these like silver crown type designs. And each of them is different. So when you look at them, like no two appear to be alike. And Nora's Notions is a house on a hill. But it is a very weird and strange perspective because none of the houses around it appear to be on a hill of any kind. And the houses that are its neighbors tower over it. So you're standing, and so imagine yourself standing sort of between two normal buildings that come out to the street, and in between them, it looks like there is a little twisting path that goes up a hill into the distance to a house. And so, like, just the whole perspective of it is wrong. It's like someone took it out of a painting and, like, put it between these two houses.
This is quite a nice little place. I really like Nora's style.
Yeah, this is really nice. Man, we're definitely gonna have to shop here more often.
After we steal from them.
Right.
How close is the roof of Nora's to the roof of the next adjacent building?
That's a really good question because logically you would think it has to be really close because you've come up the other streets in Fartown, like that there's another street or alley in behind these buildings, right? That's not very far away, like is a regular sort of distance. But when you look at Nora's, it looks like it's a couple of 100 meters away. So the perspective is entirely skewed from one to the other. If you want to try and get a better idea of like assessing the actual distance, I would say that is, I think it's going to be an intellect challenge.
Oh, I was gonna say, can I throw a rock and see how far it goes?
Yeah, you absolutely could throw a rock and see how far it goes.
Okay, I'm gonna find like a loose bit of like gravel or like a decent sized like rock, like maybe this big, just to
Okay.
something I could keep track of without it. So and
Okay. And how hard are you gonna throw it?
like a not like a linebacker throw or anything,
Yeah.
but like a good solid like underhand toss, like I'm
Okay.
playing bocce ball.
Yeah. But so I guess the question would be if you assume that the house is as far away as its neighbors, that would be just like a gentle, like you kind of just underhand it really easy, like you're tossing keys like across the room kind of thing, and it would
Yeah.
hit it. If you actually think that it's several hundred meters away, it is like, you got to haul off and throw it, quite hard.
I think I want somewhere like in between those two extremes, like not a
Okay.
totally, but like a decent like throw, like sort of like I'm trying to throw something across the room, but like I have to, I don't know how to
You got to give
describe
it some
it. Words are
oomph.
hard. Yeah, got to give it a little bit of oomph
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay. And are you really trying to hit the house?
No, I'm not trying to hit the house. I just want to see how far up the road it goes.
Okay. All right.
If
So,
if it hits the house, then we know it's just like right freaking there. But if it
yeah,
goes up a ways, then we'll know we actually have to travel a little bit.
yeah. Okay. So when you underhand it, it definitely doesn't hit the house. It doesn't, like immediately hit something. But like as you throw it, it almost seems to speed up subtly, and it definitely goes further than you would have thought by how much effort you put into throwing it. So it's sort of like it goes, let's say like halfway up the path and then sort of bounces.
All right, neat. I think we should be able to go up this path without, losing an hour of our day. Shall we go?
You two go on ahead. I want to look at things from another angle.
Sure.
We'll scope out the inside then.
Okay.
Um, Alice would like to pull out her kaleidoscopic glasses
Yep.
to get ready. Um,
Excellent.
which I have.
Those are so cool.
Oh,
Perfect.
there we go. Yeah, just so she looks really great when we're walking up to this store.
All
Oh, you
right.
look so great, Alice.
I don't know
love
how
it.
long these are going to stay on.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's great. Yeah,
Oh,
so you
they
put on these
color.
glasses, so you folks are heading up the path, and indeed it is like walking up a couple hundred meters until you're eventually outside of the door, and the building kind of resembles like a small, almost like a country cottage. And it's got like it's made of stone. It's got a little porch on it, but there is a sign above it with some stacked books and a single feather resting on them. And there is sorry, and the sign says like Nora's Notions on it.
Is the door open or closed?
It is closed.
I would like to tickle the door with the feather. Is it a
Ooh.
real feather or is it just a sign with a feather?
Well, I was thinking it was just a sign, but since you actually want to tickle the door,
Tickle the door really bad.
I like the idea of there is a stack of books on a like a stool beside the door with a feather on it, and then above the door is a sign that says Nora's Notions.
Wonderful. I am absolutely picking up the feather and tickling the door like on the handle.
Okay, excellent. And so when you do that, when you tickle it, the door giggles and opens.
Aww.
All right. So the door opens, and the smell of like spring rain, like fresh spring rain, and just like light and joy and like everything that can possibly make you happy sort of wafts out of the room, which the inside of it, like light comes out as if you were opening the door onto just like lightness and goodness. So like, because outside it's this perpetually fall day, it's a little bit overcast today, but when you open the door, it's like you would be stepping into like a brightly lit sunroom, like a very sunny, summery spring kind of room. So let's go back to Emma Elizabeth, who is outside and wants to gain a little bit of a different perspective on it. So what are you looking to do?
What is the nature of the buildings on either side? Basically, I'm looking to see like which one can I walk into.
Yeah, so one of them is clearly like a regular house, like someone's house, and it's 2 stories. But like I said, it seems to, tower over this little cottage on a hill, and it's sort of it seems to just have this perpetual cloud around it. It's just like constantly in shadow. The other house looks basically like a stone, almost like a chapel, oddly enough.
Does the chapel have a flat roof or anything that you could like go up to?
Yeah, it's it is 2 stories, but it's got like a little bit of almost a bell tower sort of attached to it, and that bit has a flat roof.
Okay, then I'm going to walk right into the chapel and look for the first official looking person that I can find. Just walk right up to him. Hey, I'm looking for a place to smoke. Do you mind if I use the roof?
You say a place to smoke?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a pretty the sort of first people that greet you are two individuals, a man and a woman. One is sort of short and squat and like brightly glowing. So they've got sort of like burnished golden skin that seems to just like emanate light and radiance from it. But they're also sort of crooked. There is just something about them that when you look at it, doesn't, it's not like a physical deformity. There is just your eye doesn't quite want to focus on them correctly. And the other one, which is the woman, is tall and thin and dark, as in, also has sort of just like a burnished bronze skin, but there's just this perpetual gloom that hangs about her. And, but she is just extremely beautiful. Like, despite this dark gloom that hangs around her and this sort of aura of almost melancholy, she is just undeniably beautiful. And they introduce themselves as Cora and Leon. And when they talk to you, she always starts and he always finishes. So she says, "Hello, I am Cora, and I am Leon. Welcome to the most beatific house of day and night. How can we help you today?"
Just looking for a place to smoke. You mind if I use the roof?
Ah, well, this is our sanctuary. Perhaps we can be of other service to you.
I don't think so. Honestly, I just kind of don't want to bother anyone outside. Do you want like a tithe or something?
Ah, a tithe is always good to help us keep the doors open.
Does that include the door up there?
Yes, I am sure that a donation will pave the way to sanctuary.
All right, I'm gonna give him 9 crystal orbs and 90 glass.
And so, like, you start pulling out these orbs, and she starts laughing, and it's kind of like tinkling bells. And she says, "No, no, 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 no. Money is not our object. Perhaps instead you would consider a more esoteric donation."
Man, now I gotta think. Let's see.
Perhaps you can offer us an emotional story.
You know what? Maybe some other time. I'm gonna head out. I don't like these people. I don't like these people one bit.
I love them so much.
And they,
I want to
and
go out to a bar with them.
as you're sort of leaving, you can feel them sort of watching you as you retreat. But they say, "That is okay. Perhaps another time."
I'm gonna try and catch up with the others, and while I do, I'm gonna try and make an intelligence kind of guesstimate of how far these roofs actually are from each other.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to say this is an intellect challenge.
Mhm.
This is going to be a level 3 task, but magic is clearly involved here.
Mhm.
So as well as constructing your venture, so any skills you have for sort of estimating distances or anything you might have that will aid you, this will at the very least you'll need to spend, either a spell of some kind, or you can spend some bene from your sortilege pool to use as a magic dice to aid this endeavor.
Well, I have magical lore skill. Would that be relevant since it is magical in nature?
So I would say that would be a skill that I think can apply here in terms of like what sort of magic might be at play. But then you'll still need either a spell or spending sortilege as well. But
How much
the skill
would I
will give you
need-
a venture of one.
How much sortilege would I need to spend?
Oh, just one.
Oh, then I'll just spend one.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna roll. You're gonna roll 2 of your d10s. Make sure you just
All right.
note which one is the magic dice in case it comes up 0.
Okay.
So we're looking at a
I got
2 or higher.
I got a 7 on the first and a 9 on the magic dice.
Okay, so both of them are a success. So when you kind of look at this and the perspectives all kind of shift and come together in your mind, you think that they're actually as close together as if they were neighboring buildings, and so you could, it wouldn't necessarily be an easy jump, but you could jump from one to the other as if they were, 10. Well, no, closer than 10 feet. Let's say like 7 feet apart, sort of thing. If you were going to jump from one to the other, but there
Okay.
is some sort of magical effect that would make it more difficult because it's hard for you to really focus.
Okay.
All right. All right. So everyone else, you open the door, and light and nice smells wafted out.
Oh, it's so nice in here.
I'm starting to get warm, and I like it.
This is a very different vibe than the dark basement.
It is. That's a good breath of fresh air, wouldn't you say, Alice? Literally.
Should we go find the owner and ask for a tour?
Ooh, I would love a tour. Let's.
All right.
Shall find the owner.
Okay. So when you enter in the building, and it's sort of like walking through, there's only a few windows, but it's like walking through like an atrium of a building where it just feels really open and light and airy. Sun is shining brightly through these windows despite the actual overcast nature of outside. And while it has the shape of a small cottage, the downstairs is taken up by a bookstore. It doesn't look like it has a lot of books in it. The shelves are quite like widely spaced apart, so people can easily be in the aisles and not bumping into each other when if you've ever been in a nice crowded bookstore and you're trying to like bend down to look at the bottom shelf and someone is behind you and your butt's rubbing their butt, and
you do like the horizontal bend where you like go totally down and not like back and forth at all.
Exactly. This, people could be like bent right over looking at the bottom shelves back to back, and there would still be room for someone to walk between them down the aisle. It is like perfectly spaced. And the books are all like facing out, so you can look at the full titles. There only seems to be kind of one of everything, and it's all very bright. There's a counter at the front with like a little bit of essentially a cash register, like those old style cash registers with the big buttons that look like the old fashioned typewriters. And the entity standing behind the counter is clearly not human. They are perched. Actually, they're not really standing. They're kind of perched on the counter. They appear. Oh, we lost Alex.
He said he's gonna be right back.
Okay.
He on Discord he said his sound dropped.
Yeah, I saw that. So I won't fix our windows for the moment because it will be easier just when he comes back. So the creature perched on the counter is only about 3.5 feet tall. They are covered in sort of white, downy feathers. They have 4 wings that have almost like peacock eyes all over them. I will rearrange us again though.
I'm back.
Thanks.
Hey.
Welcome back. So they've got sort of these peacock eyes on their 4 wings. Their face has no mouth, has 2 slits where their nostrils would be, but no nose. And there's 4 eyes that are arranged in a diamond pattern. And somehow they speak, not in your head, not opening their mouth, but still out loud. And it is like a choir singing when they talk to you. And they introduce themselves as Nora and say, "Welcome to Nora's Notions. May the light of the silver sun shine upon you. How can we help you today?"
Oh, it certainly does shine, and here it is wonderfully bright. I commend you on how great it is. My name is Alice.
Nice to meet you, Alice.
Likewise. This is my friend here.
I'm Chelsea. It's so lovely to meet you and be here. You have a lovely house and store.
I thought it is always worth bringing a little light of the silver sun to Saturnine.
You're so right. You're so right.
So this creature is clearly an angel.
Ooh. Do we know anything particular about angels, or is this just like a...
Yeah, you would know like the basics, which, you know, there's angels and demons and devils.
Okay.
In Saturnine, angels typically hail from the silver sun. Most people regard them as good, but that's probably a very overly simplistic way of looking at it, because there are certainly angels that, you know, angels are alien. They're not human. Their objectives are their own and might not always line up with what a human considers morally good. But most people kind of consider them that way, but they could still be dangerous. And yeah, they hail from the silver sun. That is the like realm of the silver sun is their home. And they are also considered creatures of the legacy by most people. So they think that they're somehow the legacy is sort of tied to the spell of creation that created reality.
Interesting. I'd like to say to Nora, Nora, we were in the neighborhood and we just wanted to see some of your collection. We heard through word of mouth about how wonderful things were over here. And I don't know, do you have anything like particular in your collection that you would maybe be able to sell us on or tell us a little bit about?
Oh, well, I happen to think that my collection here is one of the finest collections of works written by humans, by others, about the legacy in all its forms. There are indeed some spells here for sale, mostly minor magics, cantrips, some general low-level spells, some summoning type spells related in particular to inhabitants of the Silver Sun. I like to make this place a place of warmth and goodness.
Well, you've done that, certainly. Do you have any interesting books written by or for weavers, perchance, Nora?
I am afraid that I am no expert or purveyor of your order's mysteries. Most of what I carry is of general use to most Vizsla. And even to non-Vizsla, of course.
Of course. Thank you. Well, Alice, dear, shall we make a gander at these wonderful shelves and see what calls to us ourselves?
I think that's a wonderful idea.
And
Lovely.
probably about this time, after you've had like a bit of an exchange back and forth, would be when Emma Elizabeth sort of climbs up onto the steps outside the shop. And so you similarly see this like stack of books beside this door. There's a feather, like a little silver feather on it, and there is a sign up above that says Nora's Notions.
I'm just gonna try the door.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forgo the tickling. Just try the door.
Yeah, and it opens quite delightfully, and similarly inside you see this place of sort of shining beauty and warmth and smells that make you happy.
That's wonderful. I guess I'll just quickly try and fall in with Alice and Chelsea.
You sort of see them going back a stack, and Nora greets you like as you're kind of walking by. Welcome to Nora's.
Oh, thank you.
So you catch up with them in the stacks. So you guys are going to sort of search the shop looking for the black book.
Yeah. I want to go to S for steel. Because it's made out of steel, I think, right?
Well, some sort of black metal.
Oh, okay. I'll go to M then for metal.
It's made out of behemoth songs.
There's a whole lot of umlauts in the whole section.
Yes.
So actually the shop doesn't appear to be organized alphabetically like you would expect. You see like a little sort of book with some cantrips in it, next to a book that is just almost like a dictionary of some angelic language, for instance. So it is quite esoteric in whatever organizational system that they are using. So you guys are going to search around.
If it's not alphabetical, I'll just follow my heart and let it guide me wherever it goes.
Right. Okay. So you kind of just let the spirit move you through this space. All right. So this is going to be a search action. And let me just pull this up. Oh, right. We should have also done this. I meant to play this when everyone came inside.
Oh, I totally forgot to log in.
Play the card. So if you guys, of course, log in to the app, you should be able to see it when I play it. For the benefit, we have played The Weeping Priest.
Whoa.
So this is The Apprentice. So this is actually a -1 to all ventures from The Apprentice. And The Weeping Priest, secrets, ravens, books, and flame. Meanings: betrayal, weakness, turnabout, disillusionment, and loss.
I like all the books that are in the picture. I feel like that bodes well for us.
This is like very, appropriate, I think. That yes, this priest is sitting on books and surrounded by ravens. So as you all sort of begin, searching through this place looking for this book, you can actually see that a raven actually a flock of ravens kind of descends onto the windows of the house and are sitting there, and you hear like a little tap 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 at the glass, and the whole room sort of noticeably darkens.
Hmm.
Mm.
Is that a feature of the store? What's going on?
This is
Is this a bug or a feature?
And if you say that sort of out loud, Nora kind of like looks around confused and just says, "Oh, how odd." And sort of just makes like a grumpy sound. Okay, so you are all going to search through this area. So I am just going to pull up this and go. All right. So yes, I'm gonna say this searching around is like a perception related task. Would be the pool. So you're taking on a search, looking for this black book. It You don't actually know. In this case, this is gonna be one of the few times that the challenge is gonna be hidden from you because you don't really know how hard this might be.
Yeah.
So
a skill.
So if you have searching as a skill, that's +1 to your venture. You can spend bene from your perception pool in order to, again, add another +1 to your venture. But you also have -1 to your venture
Yes.
from the card.
I have a Vex right now in perception.
Okay. I decide when you spend that.
Okay.
And I actually think this is a totally appropriate time to spend that Vex. So you're going to be at -2 on your venture
good.
starting out.
Okay.
Can I just like straight roll it? Is there anything keeping me from just like?
Nope.
Roll
There
up.
is nothing.
All right.
There is nothing keeping you from just straight rolling it if you so wish.
I think I'm gonna do that then.
Okay.
Do we all roll? Should I roll too? Are we all rolling?
Yes,
Do I get
yes.
to roll my dice?
Yes. You all get to roll.
Interesting.
Oh, and
Okay.
one thing to keep in mind, because in case it wasn't clear, the D10s that you're using, the 0, if it is marked as a 0, or if it is marked as a 10, is not a 10 like it is in D&D. It is actually a 0.
Okay.
So you
Good to
can
know.
score 0 on your roll. The highest you can roll on your dice is 9.
Okay. So by spending like a venture, so I get like +1 from my skill, but that's just adding to my total roll, correct? Not rolling an additional.
Essentially, like normally your venture gets subtracted from your challenge, right?
Okay.
But in this case, you don't know the challenge, so like just tell me what you rolled and what your venture is. So everyone starts out at -1 because of the card. In your case, you have a skill that's you have 1 level in the skill, correct?
Correct.
In searching, so that flattens it out back to 0. And then if you're spending any bene or anything like that, then you would bump it up.
All right. Cool. I'm doing it. It's happening. Sorry if it's loud. Oof. Not good. I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1. Okay.
Rolled a 1.
All right.
This dice betrayed.
Emma Elizabeth, what was the result of your straight roll?
5 -1 4.
Okay, so 4. Excellent. All right.
I was wondering, can I use research or museum curator?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you
say
do
your museum curator?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 4
Okay.
after all the things.
Okay.
And I spent 2 bene.
Okay. So And actually, you can only spend one bene unless you have the thing that
Ooh.
lets you spend more than one.
Okay, I'm actually at a 3
So yours
then.
is a 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And Emma rolled a 5 minus 1 for a 4. Okay. So, Emma, the book practically calls to you. Everyone else, you're all searching. You kind of split up a little bit through this shop.
Where is this
And
thing?
everyone else is sort of like, yeah, goofing around. They can't quite find it. And you then just feel drawn to this back corner of the room. And when you do, there's an isolated book stand with a black metallic covered book that is chained to the stand, and the stand is bolted to the floor. And the whole, like, it's in a corner that seems like the darkest place in this, normally brightly lit space.
All right. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not even gonna put. I'm gonna put on the pretense that like, oh, I don't care about this at all. But can I attempt to see if it's magically bound to where it is?
Yeah, so this is gonna be, if you've got some kind of spell or anything like that, then you could use that. Otherwise, this is gonna be like an intellect. You've got magical lore, so I think that would apply.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll cancel out the general -1. Although actually, I think since we found the book, that is a momentous occasion for a new card.
Ooh.
So this time we have played the Endless Maze. Blue, so any spells you have that are blue are enhanced. Any spells that are red are hindered. Secrets, ravens, books, and flame. Meanings are journey, long spans of time, insanity, and inner turmoil.
Do these cards stack up? Like, do they keep adding on to each other?
No.
Okay.
So as these get played through the Path of Suns, everything sort of replaces the card that had been played before until we get to the point where we play a card on the Invisible Sun, and then that is always in effect until we get another card played on the Invisible Sun.
Okay.
All right, and let me switch this around and move people around as Lucky has joined us. So while
Sam.
Hey.
Hi, I literally just got in the door like 10 minutes ago.
Welcome back.
So while I get us adjusted, why doesn't one of you or all of you get Lucky, or in this case Sam, filled in on the goings on?
I vote we all start talking at the same time.
Yes.
True.
Anything.
Yes.
Be like at the end. Be like, you get it? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
So we went to.
So we started.
We found the bookstore, and then
oh my
there are
god.
2 buildings on
We
either
went
side.
into it.
Uh,
Nora was
really
It
there.
cool.
looks really far away, but there's
Oh,
only a
the hell.
7-foot gap from the roof,
Oh
so
my
I'm
God.
thinking we can jump it.
Guys, do not do this thing.
I'm sorry. Okay, Alex, you go ahead.
We got to the bookstore. It's owned by an angel. We found the black book. Henrietta's in disguise as a person named Chelsea with a scarf wrapped around her face. The bookstore looks like it's super far away, but there's only a 7-foot gap between the buildings, the bookstore and the adjacent buildings. So if we want to jump the roof, we can do it. And we're currently walking around taking a tour.
A tour of the
I
bookstore.
found the black book. I think the others are occupying Nora at the moment.
Yeah, we're browsing. We're generally browsing.
Okay. That's all I've missed.
Yeah, basically.
That's good. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if this
All
is any
right.
better. Sorry, I don't have my normal good setup because
That is quite all right.
oh.
And are we assuming that that Lucky is there with them.
Maybe I'm catching up.
Casually
Okay.
late. That's his style.
Absolutely, it is.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
And also, we drew the inner turmoil card. Don't know what that means yet.
Yeah, we drew a card about inner turmoil and insanity. So this was the endless maze.
Oh boy,
Yes,
that's right up my alley. Okay.
Yeah. So blue, any like magic or abilities you have tied to the color blue is enhanced. Anything tied to
Have
red.
one.
Yeah.
I don't have my character sheet open yet. Hang on.
That's okay. And anything red is down. And then, of course, if you're tied to secrets, ravens, books, and flame. All right. So, yes. So, Emma, you have found this book. It doesn't appear to be, like, locked or anything. Like, the book is shackled, so you can't physically remove it. But you can open it. And peruse it and things like that. But what you wanted to do was you wanted to see about sort of any like magical like wards or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be this will be an an intellect based task. You're kind of like surveying it, looking for anything magical. You've got your magical lore, so that's automatically you can apply to your adventure for +1.
Yeah. And I'll definitely drop a Bene in there as well. I really want to know this.
Yeah, and because you're looking for actual magical effects, this similarly would require you to be able to succeed. It is a magical thing, so you're going to need to spend. If you're not using a spell, you're going to need to at least spend sortilege to add a magic dice to your roll.
Yeah, well, my one spell is not going to be super relevant here, so I will do that.
Excellent.
Magic dice, magic dice. Oh no. I rolled a 3 on my regular dice and a 0 on my magic dice.
Okay. So you don't detect any magical wards or anything of any kind that you can see, but you know it's because like magic's gone a little funny for you because you have to succeed on both dice, but you have also triggered magical flux.
This is so exciting!
I hope I can polymorphed into a sheep.
This is the first time this has happened. So this is a minor magical flux chart. Actually, I just picked something appropriate. Oh, let's see.
That sounded bad.
No, it's not. Some of these are all actually pretty funny. And most of them are pretty minor. But given the cards that we have played, yeah. You just like the magical flux itself doesn't immediately sort of trigger something, but like you just have this feeling, like you can feel that sort of the flow of magic around you sort of got twisted up inside in your head and sort of lodged there, like just something kind of stuck in your brain, and you've just got this kind of feeling of dread about it, or more like anxiety. Not outright dread, just like it makes you a little worried.
Okay.
All right. So, Lucky. What's Lucky been doing today? This is the middle of the week, so this is a few days past when, you found out about the shop and everything. Everyone else was kind of working. This was basically Wednesday when Emma normally meets for lunch with Henrietta anyway. And he kind of took a little bit of time in the afternoon to just go check out the shop. But Lucky wasn't home when everyone else went out. So what was Lucky doing?
I'm like totally brain dead right now. I just drove like 100 miles. God, what could he be doing? Any number of things. I can't think of it. I'm open to suggestions. I don't know.
Well, maybe Lucky was feeling a little brain dead too and was just out walking around Fartown to clear his head.
That's fine. Yeah, he
Yeah.
slept in a gutter.
Yeah.
Slept in a gutter and he's just been walking it off all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then came home to Dark Basement, and maybe did the rest of you leave a note for Lucky? Gone to Nora's.
Mhm.
Were you
Yeah,
just,
probably.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you
Yeah, I
for
feel like
thinking of me.
Henry usually just leaves a note because, like, I imagine Lucky would just get kind of pissed off if, like, he showed up and no one was there. He'd be like, "What the hell? I come here expecting results. Women to fawn over me,
They're usually two by default, and they're
and
not
if
over
they're
here.
not there, he's
So-
got to come up with Plan B."
That sounds very reasonable. So he's definitely insisted that Henrietta leave notes from now on when she leaves. So he can go find her so that he can then be fawned over once he arrives.
Exactly.
So except now he's like he looks like somebody who has slept in a gutter. Definitely. Like we're talking like kind of damp, stringy hair, and he probably smells really bad, and but he pulls it off, of course.
Of course.
As he rocks up to this bookshop.
He's still mysteriously handsome. Like, looks like utter trash, but
Definitely.
he's mysteriously handsome.
Like really handsome trash. So.
Yeah, are you sure that's not like his actual skill?
It
he
is.
brought?
It's actually just looking good all the time. What
Yeah.
skill did you bring from the gray? Looking good.
Looking good.
All right.
So okay. So they are like wandering the bookshop, and
Yeah. So Lucky strolls up, and it's like there's two buildings, and then somehow sandwiched between the buildings, it looks like you have to walk like a couple of 100 meters up a hill to where a cottage is in the distance. And when you eventually make your way up, you're standing outside a door where there's a pile of books beside the door on a stool with a feather sitting on it. And above the door is a sign that says Nora's Notions.
well, I'm enter.
And so you open the door, and you know it's light and kind of good, and it smells real nice in this place. Although the light is being blocked by a whole bunch of ravens that were on the windows. But as you open the door, they all caw and like fly away. And so like the whole place brightens up. It is like the spotlight has hit the stage.
What an interest.
Which I think calls for us to play another card.
Ooh.
Do we notice Lucky enter the store?
Absolutely, because when the door opens,
How could we not?
the ravens like flee. The book was then opened, and as the book opens, the light shines in again, and a stray beam shines on Lucky, striding
Who's
in through the
that?
door.
Who is this man?
And we have played the devil.
Wow, that's
Again,
appropriate.
super appropriate.
that's
So the-
amazing.
So the devil is a nemesis card. It is the nemesis of secrets. Again, secrets and ravens and books and flame. Every card that we have played so far on this computerized deck that I have zero control over has been entirely appropriate, and everything is being played from the same like family and notions, and is like oddly appropriate to the situation.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so a Nemesis card is if it is your heart, or sorry, it is -1 to all ventures for everybody.
Oof.
If that is your heart, it is -2.
Oof.
So we had played the Apprentice of Secrets earlier, and now it is the Nemesis. And for a little more detail for everyone, card 14, the Nemesis. Temptation, lies, charm, persuasion, and words. The Nemesis of Secrets is the Prince of Lies. Again, totally appropriate.
I love it.
Yeah. So yes. So everyone has probably sort of gravitated back towards Emma when Emma has opened this book. And you're just
Like,
standing there
not
with this
just
book in your hand.
us, but like, did everyone else in the store like also come over?
Well, the store has been oddly empty.
Oh, that's not weird or anything.
So what's in this book? Is it names?
There's a bunch of stuff. You can read it because you can speak and presumably read the language of all the types of entities you would summon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is not written in like a Vizsla language. So when the other people look at it, they see some diagrams and things like that, but they can't make head or tails of it. But you see, when you open the cover, which was actually blank, just this like grayish, blackish metal and blank. But when you open it, there's an illuminated front page. You know, like those very like medieval, like illuminated manuscripts. And the title is called Knight's Grateful Dominations.
Ooh, this book sounds saucy.
It does.
And so the manuscript actually has an image of an angel and demon wrestling one another. Yes, in the Greco-Roman style.
Even better. All
So
right.
they are clearly naked and wrestling one another.
A very saucy book.
I show it around to everyone like a first grade teacher doing the picture book thing. Like,
I didn't know they had snacks in this place.
Did somebody call for a snack? I say as I rock up behind these guys. I just kind of like come up and like put my arms around Alice and Henry, like, ladies. Hello.
You made it.
So glad you could join us.
I
Wondering where you got off to.
around.
Yeah.
Why are you
Sounds
looking
great.
at porn?
Well, to be fair, Emma started looking at porn, and we happened to wander over.
That is so
are you
inappropriate.
judging me right now?
This is not the place or the time. Why don't you take that home?
As much
Hopefully
as I
we
would
do.
love to, I'd show her the fact that it's like chained to the fucking wall.
I'm gonna quietly talk to, like, ask, like, what's stopping us from just buying this outright ourselves?
I thought you were going to say what's stopping us from just stealing it right now.
I'm just stealing it. Well, the chain.
That's true.
That
Well, he wouldn't sell
I
it.
assume that the person we just spoke to over the weekend has quite a lot of money, quite a lot more than we do. At least as much, at least significantly more influence. So if she couldn't acquire this book, I'm guessing it's probably not for sale.
That's fair enough.
So-
it
so there-
just seems like false advertising that it's out on display. But
Yeah. So there's actually a price tag on it.
Oh, that's handy.
that is handy. How much is it?
It is 5 gem orbs.
I don't even know what that denomination is.
Yeah.
That's 500 crystal orbs.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I
It's
have
like
3.
it's like roughly like $5,000 if you wanted to put it in shadow terms.
Expensive demon porn. Yes.
Seriously.
I mean, when you have really niche tastes, this is what you
This
have
is
to
the
deal
price
with.
you have to pay.
Yeah.
So when you like flip through the book a little bit, Emma, you can see that it starts out with almost like a history book. Like there's a bunch of stories in there about some conflicts between like demons and angels. There's a couple of juicy little stories about that feature the Church of Midnight in Saturnine, and like crusades carried out by angelic hosts on the as like raids on the Church of Midnight in Saturnine. There seems to be like a little bit of discussion of angels and demons in Saturnine, as in like kind of who was living here at some point before the war. But there is also like some mixed in, there's some names in there from that, both angels and demons. They seem like relatively minor angels and demons, so like pretty low level. And there are also a few spells in there. So there's like some general spells, some cantrips, things like that. But you get the suspicion, if you like really studied this, like it's a big, thick book, and it seems like denser and packed full of more information than it should, even given its size. If you really spend a lot of time with it, there might be some hints in here for things like, pacts and agreements and things like that, which are a real big deal to Goetics. Yeah. Like some rules in there that if you knew them, you could invoke them and like possibly find patrons among either the angels or the demons.
Okay.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, the book is written from a seemingly angelic perspective, although it is all very dark and twisted.
Like a goth angel wrote it?
Yeah, like a goth angsty angel wrote it.
Sweet. It's on brand.
I'm gonna look something up real fast. I will be right back.
do we feel like maybe trying to buy another book just to see if everything here is super expensive? Also, I kind of really love books and want to support this store, so
Henry also really likes books. But yeah, is there like a baby little book with like the cantrips that is maybe?
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff in here.
Is there a picture book for Lucky?
There totally is. There's all kinds of books in here. So if you there's like some fancy books in here that are also bound in metal but just have like regular information in them, that run sort of like 5 crystal orbs, like that kind of range. But there's like regular books that are lesser, and then there's things that are more expensive. Some of them are listed in things like mage coins in order to buy them, which you don't have any. And you can't sort of necessarily directly equate one to the other. But there is definitely a few things in here with some like minor cantrips and things like that that would be affordable.
If you purchase a cantrip, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, can I even use cantrips? Is that even something that I can do?
Yep. Everyone, like general spells, like all of that stuff are things that any Vizsla can learn.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
So learning things is often twofold. There's things where you could learn like just in a library or things like that. If you purchase a book that has a spell in it, that doesn't automatically learn it. It just means you have access to it. You still need to study it and spend acumen and things like that.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Is the cantrip Rapid Read for sale?
Rapid read?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, probably.
All right, I will absolutely like to buy that.
Okay.
Can I buy a crime novel?
Yeah.
Do they have
There-
that?
There is no crime novels. I am gonna say that something with a minor cantrip in it probably costs like 5 crystal.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna kind of be looking around and casing the joint essentially
Mhm.
as this goes on, as
So-
they're like shopping. I probably look really suspect though. Just
Okay. So
Nature.
Lucky, yes. So Lucky, you're over and you happen to wander by like a bulletin board in the shop with like the posters of like upcoming events. And there's totally the things in there about like book readings and signings, and most of it's like woefully old and out of date because they never take the signs down.
Mhm.
But you see plastered over everything a nice big sign advertising an angelic soiree. Next week, like next weekend, there is going to be a party at Nora's Notions.
That's
So-
very interesting.
There is going to be a book reading from an author known as Chisholm. And the book, Chisholm appears to be like some kind of historian, but he has written a historical thriller about angels and the war. Or no, not about the war, sorry. Not the war, a war. There's other
A
wars
war.
in history. Yeah, exactly. Not the war, because nobody talks about the war. But this older war, Chisholm is a historian who studies it, and it was a conflict between angels and demons, appropriately enough. And the book is called Angels and Demons, subtitled At War, a historical thriller.
All right, well then I'm going to I turn on my heel, like I literally go whoop and I go back to my friends like, guys, there's a book signing next week and there's gonna be a big party afterwards. And I know you guys really love to read.
I love
So I
reading.
thought we could come back for the party.
Let's
Oh.
ask Nora for an invitation.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, go ask her for an invitation for sure.
And so, as you were all like talking too, and Emma is still sort of like looking at the book, there's a bit of a rustle behind you as Nora alights on the bookshelf behind you. Her 4 peacocked-eyed sort of wings bustling as all 3.5 feet of her kind of perches up on top of the books. And although she has no mouth, again, she speaks to you like tinkling bells. And she just says, oh dear, no. That book, I'm afraid, is not for you.
Oh, we're not even interested in it. There's really nice craftsmanship on these chains.
That sounds
Love
really,
what you've done.
really specific. Can only certain people buy it?
Oh, I'm afraid that that I can't part with that book to if I thought it was going to end up in the hands of a goetic.
Of course, my apologies. I closed the book and put it back up.
She's just got a curious, scholarly mind.
Yeah, but I can't blame you. Nobody should trust a goetic, am I right?
Did I hear someone mention the party?
Oh yeah, I saw your flyer over there, and we're totally into it.
Oh, absolutely. Professor Chisholm is such a wonderful scholar of the conflicts between angels and demons. We're so delighted to have him join us to read from his new book. This is his first attempt at fiction, but given how gripping his historical treaties are, I am sure it will be most resplendent.
I'm sure it'll be riveting. Is it already for sale or is it not available until the party?
Oh, we will have many copies at the party.
Wonderful.
You can buy a signed first edition.
Oh.
I'm sure there'll be many printings.
But the first edition is, that's mint.
That will make it
Collector's item.
special. Oh, yes, indeed. It is a limited print run. We're going to have only 30 copies.
So it sounds like this could be pretty exclusive then.
It could be. I have been told there will be 10 with an alternative cover.
Ooh. Well, I guess we'll have to get here early for the alternative cover versions.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm told that a most delightful artist has sculpted it.
Oh, really? Do you know who?
Yes. I believe it is a cousin of Chisholm. What was that name again? Thundaris.
Rolls off the tongue.
Oh, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Nora. This has been quite illuminating.
Do we need
yes, indeed.
Do we need any kind of invitation to come to the party, or
No.
could we get there early? I know that Henri here is a big fan. I know it would mean so much to her if she could have like a little bit of time to just meet the author and get her book signed. And I mean, is that something that could be arranged?
Okay. I am going to have this sounds like you were trying to persuade them. And they are challenge level 3.
Okay.
But they're a little bit they're hard to slip anything by in terms of their like perception for like rooting out truth and like lies and ill intent. So I'm gonna say that for this purposes, we're gonna treat them as a level 4.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what dice do I use? A D10.
Yes, the D10.
Okay,
That is correct. Then, so your venture, any skills or bene that you're gonna spend, that sort of thing.
Okay. And would this come from intellect? Interaction?
Yes, this would be an interaction in terms of the pool that you would spend any bene out of, and then any skills you have around, persuasion or deception or anything like that as they apply.
I am a master gaslighter.
So you actually sort of want to convince them that they've already invited you, I guess?
Yeah, that sounds good. We've been in here before. And, I know that Henry has kind of a forgettable face, so it's okay that you don't remember. I understand. But, I know that she would be really excited. I mean, I feel like we arranged this before. We were really just coming in to remind you when we got distracted by this metal book on the wall. And just checking up to make sure that we had the right date and stuff like that. So
Henry's going by a code name right now too.
Oh,
Alice called her Chelsea.
oh, sorry. But I wouldn't know that.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
All right.
You haven't said it. Just let my blower cover a little. It's fine.
Okay.
We can just
All right.
gaslight her out of believing the name was Chelsea.
Who said it was Chelsea? Okay.
Chelsea who?
All
So
right.
I'm gonna
So your skill gives you a venture of 1.
Okay.
Keep in mind the nemesis. So, are you tied to secrets?
I actually don't know.
It's under your heart.
Oh, I don't think I noted that.
So your heart is what? Ardent?
Yes.
Let me double check. Heart, page 64.
I think our heart was cats, notions, and something else. Clocks? For Ardent.
Yes, card family is notions. So this card family is secrets. But it's -1 to everybody. It's -2 if you're secrets.
Uh-oh. We
We
lost
lost
Alex.
Alex.
We lost Alex briefly.
He says he'll be right back.
Yeah. So your skill +1, the -1 to everyone, so you're back at 0.
Yeah.
And then are you spending any bene from your
I will.
interaction pool?
I have 3 in my interaction.
Yep.
I regain them, right?
You can regain them through just your rest actions and things like
Okay.
that. So
Well, then I'm going to go ahead and use them all because I'll get them back. So, I will use 3.
So at this point in time, you can only spend 1.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know there was a limit. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll still spend 1 then. I'll definitely spend 1. So I need to roll higher than a 3.
Higher than a
Am I
4.
understanding?
Oh yes, higher than a 3. Sorry,
But I'm
because
3 because I'm spending the. Okay.
that's right. That's right.
Is there ways to help? Is there a help action or?
There absolutely is. You can take the aid action, and if the person helping you also has a relevant skill, then instead of +1 to the venture, it is +2.
I don't have a relevant skill, but I think I just want to stand there with my kaleidoscopic glasses on that make me so much better at interaction.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna stand there and be just gonna pose and try and fill in the gaps of this conversation with just this modeling of these glasses that I really like.
So you start power posing. And...
Yeah.
I love it. The really big hair too. So
Yes.
she's all hair.
She
Yeah.
looks like Luna Lovegood, basically,
Yeah.
with her
Big Coke bottle
Crazy
RGB spinning glasses.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yes. So this brings it down. So your venture is now 2.
Okay.
But I also think so. This is an angelic creature. This is an angelic creature you're trying to influence. They're sort of magically perceptive. So you're gonna have to spend. You're gonna have to either use a spell because you need an extra dice here. You need to get 2 successes. So either a spell or you can spend sortilege, which then lets you. That's sortilege is just you channeling raw magical energy into what you're doing. And that will give you a magic dice to roll.
Okay. I'm not sure I have any relevant spells. Unless I wanted to like reach into her heart with my invisible hand. But I don't want to do that. So I guess I will just
that might be a little harsh.
Yeah, a little bit. That's pretty
Yeah.
drastic.
And
So I guess
messy, I
I'll
think.
just do the sortilege.
Yeah. Now, unless of course
Then that.
your influences minds forte has any relevant abilities, that's the
Oh.
same thing. Abilities are all magical as
Right.
well.
If I had that open, I could tell you, but I didn't think to open that. So yeah, I'm not really prepared tonight because I
That's okay. You had a con. We are happy that you joined us.
So I'll just use my sortilege for now and
Okay.
be more informed in the future.
Absolutely no problem.
Okay, so am I rolling 2 dice?
So you're rolling 2 dice, and you need to get 2 or higher on both of them.
4
Good.
and 3.
And 3. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
So
Neat.
yeah. So Nora is totally like, oh my god, yes, I totally forgot all about that. I totally forgot that Henri here totally forgets that you introduced yourself as Chelsea.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yes, I forgot that Henri is such a big fan. I am also going to introduce here a GM shift. So I basically make things worse or better for you than expected.
Oh.
And in this case, it is
Oh.
going to be better for you than expected for Henri. So Henri, you know, as Nora is sort of gushing about, oh, I forgot you were such a big fan, and really appreciated this. I actually have some advance copies set aside
Oh my god.
of the limited
Really?
edition. So if you wanted, we're not really supposed to release this yet,
Oh, I won't.
but
tell
just
her.
because I forgot, I'll let you take yours now.
Oh my god.
And you can bring it back to get signed when you come to the party. And you know what? I think we can give all of your friends a copy of the of just the regular edition. I know you're all such big readers.
Alice is tearing up at this
hilarious.
point.
Thank you so much. This is
Henri-
more than we could have ever expected.
Yeah.
Henry's
Lucky,
trying
where
to
did you
figure out
learn
what
how
to
to-
like clutch in thanks and can't really like decide on what to grab, so she just sort of like
Oh.
just sort of like bows like in thanks, like, oh, Nora, you really shouldn't have. You know, I totally understand, but I'm so grateful for this. You know, this is why we come back.
So Nora disappears for a little bit and then comes back with a package of books for you, and hands it over. And that shift brings you 1 joy.
Yay!
So you can mark that down on your character sheet.
Oh
This
boy, I have
is
2 joy now.
fantastic.
I'm full of joy.
Lucky, when did you learn how to read?
I didn't know you could read.
I'm genuinely surprised here.
There are probably pictures in there. There's at least one on the cover. Always time to learn.
Okay. All right.
Great. So, are we leaving this shop now?
Is
Can
Nora
we-
charging us for these books, by the way?
No.
Good.
Wonderful. Oh my god. This author is going to be so pissed.
Can I try using my spell to hide my book to see if it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do that in the shop?
Yeah, I want to see if I can cast spells in here.
Yeah.
For, like-
So
I'm using for future knowledge. But
yeah. So this is one of your like general spell or your ability, right? That you know.
This is my general spell.
Yeah.
I hide an object on my person, and it becomes hidden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what level is it's a level 1?
Level 1.
Okay, so you just spend 1 sorcery out of your sorcery pool, and then it just works, and you cast it.
Mhm.
And what does it look like when you like hide the book on your person magically?
Oh, I put it into my hair.
Right, because Alice has like big hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Right into the hair, and it's gone.
So you tuck it in there, and it is gone.
Well, that worked surprisingly well. All right.
I'm like looking behind her, like under her hair.
Now that Lucky has been entranced by magic, shall we make our way out? Do we have any more business here?
I don't
Not
think
right
so.
now.
Did you want to get that cantrip? Double E?
Oh, did I buy that already?
Yeah, I think so, right? I told you 5
Yeah.
crystal, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. All right, yeah, let's make our way out. I can't wait to start reading this great
Same.
book.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can teach Lucky as you go.
If you can teach me some words. I will not let Emma Elizabeth have the satisfaction of like insulting me. I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I can't read. How does that make you feel? Except I hope that I can.
I'm assuming that Lucky
Jesus
probably
Christ.
can.
Probably
I
can
feel like
read.
Probably not
illiteracy
illiterate.
isn't a quirk. Someone could.
What's your just like quirk? I can't read.
It'd be kind of hard given that like all Vizsla have to study. Like
Yeah.
learning spells involves
I am an
study.
apostate.
You are an
Rock and
apostate.
roll, no
It's-
That's
reading.
why you're an apostate, is because you can't read.
I just can't read. I can't read well enough to join an order. No, I can read. All
When
right.
the order tries to give you a list of rules, you're just like, nope.
Lucky beats up nerds in the bathroom to get them to do his homework for him.
All right.
All right.
As we're leaving, I like sling my arm around Henry and I'm like, you got some studying to do.
Yeah, I guess so. That was quick thinking.
Gonna be counting on you to make a big distraction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
definitely.
The party is gonna be the perfect time to slip in and out unnoticed.
Let's hope it draws a big crowd.
There is that. It sounds really dry.
Actually, we could start, like, spreading this around.
You want a canvas for this history book?
Yeah. Well, we could make it sound more exciting than it is.
You would definitely have to.
At this
I
point,
don't know
Alice,
anybody is going to show up.
Alice will be like, "Did you see this part in the chapter? This looks so exciting."
So the
Maybe
book,
Alice would be the better distraction. Actually, I think she might be.
So the book, for everyone's benefit, so the 3, like Lucky, Alice, and Emma, have just like the regular edition, but it's still, it's like a small leather bound book. All the books are like fancy compared to our books, and it just has the title on it and the author. There's no picture. The version that Henrietta has looks, it is not actually, but it looks like the cover is like all embossed in like gold leaf. And
Wow.
It's
and it
like
has
you
this-
know what I like.
yeah, and it's got like a raised picture of like a triumphant angel like jabbing a spear into a demon that it's got like pinned to the ground. But it's super gaudy. And as you like flip through the book, it's boring as crap. It is like an academic textbook as fiction.
Is it like the Silmarillion, but somehow drier?
Yeah. Totally. I say this as someone who actually likes the Silmarillion, but
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's pretty dry.
It is like Dan Brown wrote the Similarian.
Oh no.
So it has like, it's got really clumsy like hooks at the end of every chapter as if they're a cliffhanger, and
That sounds great.
yeah.
Henry's just excited to add this to her collection because, I mean, pretty books are just pretty to look at.
We'll now never have Dan Brown as a guest on this stream.
Oh, right? Yeah.
He'll never
sorry,
join
Dan.
us.
Sorry, Mr. Brown. He's like one of the angels, like sort of Tom Hanks-esque, like on the in the illustrations.
If Tom Hanks had no mouth and like too many eyes.
Cool.
And a whole bunch of wings.
Thanks for that nightmare fuel.
That's horrific.
Sounds freaking terrible.
Viewers, someone Photoshop this stat.
Please.
Tom Hanks with too many eyes.
And tweet it at us.
Yeah,
Multiple
and tweet it.
wings.
Tweet us at Variant Rolls. Hashtag Invisible Sun RPG.
I really want to see that happen. And I also don't. All right. Well, as I am walking along looking like a drowned rat, I'm definitely plotting out this heist in my mind. Party seems like a great way to just come in and get out, and before they can notice, the book is gone. In theory.
Everything will go perfectly well and nothing bad will happen.
Absolutely. That is right, Alice.
That's the spirit.
It's not even crime.
So as you're walking down the street, Emma, a small hand tugs at your like jacket.
From
Low.
like, the back of my jacket? Low. Okay.
No, like low, beside you.
Okay, is it like kid?
Yeah, it is like a grubby looking urchin in sort of tattered clothing, tugging at your like, what is Emma wearing? Like a dress or?
Is this my level 2 homeless contact?
I actually imagine she's wearing one of those, like, I really don't know how to describe it. I'm bad with clothes. Like one of those like cloak things that like AOC was wearing at the State Union.
Yes.
Like one of those, but like dark blue, and she has like her like sort of brass colored goetic pin up here, and she's got the sleeve. She's not really wearing them that are there. Like one of those.
Yeah, it's like it's like you're wearing a jacket as a cloak, and it's got like the split open sleeve. Yeah. I have exactly. I know what you mean. If any of us know the word, it's totally Sam. I have no idea what they're called.
Yeah.
Is there like a cape, like a capelet or something?
Something. Yeah. I mean, I think a capelet's just like a short cape, right?
Yeah, but usually like they have sort of a weird sleeve situation going on.
It's definitely like a Lando Calrissian look.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
No one can deny the coolness.
That's true. Especially when Danny Glover wears it. Yeah. So anyway, the small dirty hand like tugs at the hem of your little coat, cloak, cape thing.
Can I help you?
Read your fortune for just 2 glass orbs.
I give him 8. How about one for everyone?
Ooh.
Okay.
Goodness.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. And pulls out this deck of round cards that they start shuffling, and sort of gestures and somehow pulls a little like card table out of somewhere and plops it down and deals out a card for each of you. So who wants to go first?
I think
Emma.
Okay.
Or Alice. It's fine if Alice wants to go first.
The urchin's like looking at you expectantly.
Are you ready?
Always
Emma?
true, the cards are.
Go
My
ahead.
name's Oliver.
All right. Alice will walk up and say, I've actually been thinking about my story, so this should line up well with what you've got. I'm really excited to hear about this.
Okay. And flips over a card. Ooh, this. The mysterious rune. So they flip over this card, which has a hooded figure holding an open book with magic-looking runes on it, and melted candles on the cloaked figure's shoulders. Again, secrets, ravens, books, and flame. And magic, mystery, and wordless communication. And so they tell you that this card is actually, for Vizsla, is considered to be good fortune ahead. There's mystery afoot, but something important in it can be discovered if you look for it. Specifically, looking for something in a book is a good idea after this card has been turned.
Alice would like to pull the book out of her hair and just open it up and like quickly check and see if anything pops out.
Yep. So when you are flipping through it, the first thing that you notice is a name. And it's a name that's not super uncommon, but the name is Grisla. And it seems to be just talking about a Vizsla. It's just a character in this book. But the first thing that comes into your head is a maker that you know named Grisla the Cursed.
I like nod to this child. I'm like, yes, I understand what this was about.
Yeah. Grisla is cursed because nothing they make is ever quite right.
That's
It
the
works.
worst.
It works, but it's just
Terrible.
never quite right. It's sufficient for the task, but there's always something just a little off. Sometimes you can't even put your finger on what's off about it. I know, that's the worst for anyone that whenever that's imposter syndrome right
I was
there.
about to say this is like my job in real life, but okay, I'm gonna put the book back and say, I really appreciate this fortune. It's really great to talk to you. And I'll pass it on.
Yep, and so Oliver shuffles the cards again. Who's next?
Okay, me.
Step right up, sir. And plays a card.
Slouch up.
And they play the Dangerous Elixir. This is the first card for us that is not secrets. This is in fact notions. So this ties into your heart. And its powerful magic comes in small, perhaps even innocuous forms, which the Dangerous Elixir proves to be true. It is a powerful and transformative, but is it a boon or a bane? Are the potion's effects harmful or helpful? It's all about the risk you're willing to take and the consequences you're willing to face. This card offers power, but at a risk. Power can backfire. It promises transformation, and that can be literal or figurative. It might transform a situation, changing the outcome of events, but there's still always that risk that something is going to change. Will it be good or bad for Lucky? That is the question.
All right. I just step back like.
So something ahead of you offers power, but there's risk involved. So it's a little bit of a gamble for you. Oliver says, My dad gambled.
Oh.
Now I'm here.
I can tell.
Who's next? Who's next?
Well, if Emma won't step up, then I suppose it's my turn. Just tell me
All
my
right.
fortune.
And Oliver lays down a card for you. And it is the driver. Wow, we actually have a sports car on this. Always moving forward. Sometimes there's simply no recourse than simply get away. Escape is often the best option. And the best escape is a quick one. The driver indicates an upcoming trip. It suggests that speed is important, but most of all, it says that one should keep moving forward. Ostensibly, forward means towards one goal. There's an impetuousness to the driver that suggests at least sometimes the best way to get where one's going might not be straight towards it. The driver moves in quick turns to get around obstacles and befuddle those who try to follow her.
Well, thank you. That's given me a lot to think about.
And Oliver keeps shuffling and looks at Emma expectantly.
I'll step a little bit forward and get my fortune told.
All right. And we have played Inevitable Cataclysm.
Oh, no.
This is
Love it.
Visions. While we fear the cataclysm, it is inevitable. We cannot prevent it. The end comes for all things eventually, and we cannot stop it. The earth quakes, the seas advance, the sky falls, fire engulfs everything. We can try to survive, but that's likely the best we can hope for. An optimist might try to say that a cataclysm can be cleansing and change things for the better, but the inevitable cataclysm really isn't about that. It's about endings. It's difficult to see this card as positive. Typically, even if it suggests that something unwanted comes to an end, it is usually a violent and costly one. This card just might be seen as ill fortune, but it could also be the end of a relationship, the end of an ongoing success, or that a significant possession like a house might be in danger of destruction.
I'm back like behind her like
And then Oliver picks up his cards, tucks them in a pouch, folds up the card table, and keeps folding the card table until it disappears, doffs his cap, and runs away.
Okay, bye.
that was 8 glass orbs well spent.
and you can swear you can just
Absolutely.
hear this cackling as Oliver runs away.
What a creep. I have to ask if those cards are random or if you would like.
Yeah, right?
Oh, they were totally they're just played through this app. I have no control
That's
over them.
wild.
I love it.
Yeah. All of
I'm
the
sure we're
first
just-
all of the first 4 were totally bang on for the situation at hand, and they were
Yeah.
all from the same card family about secrets.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know the human mind loves looking for like patterns and coincidences, but that was pretty good still. Like
Thank you, Monty Cook Games, for making a game about coincidences. All right.
well, I'm glad
So-
your pockets are a little lighter, Emma. Are we going back to Dark Basement?
Yeah, I think I need to do some. I guess I should do some reading. And she just like seems kind of like depressed now, like after getting her card.
I see that as a very positive card. Think about it. You're going to be the one driving this heist forward. You're going to be the one that helps us get away with it.
I think you're taking this a little literally.
No, there was a car on that card. I know what I saw.
Fortunes aren't just.
I also think, and this is a radical idea, that you're probably thinking about it too much. There's a good chance that's a bunch of bullshit.
Maybe you're right.
For once in his life, he probably is.
Now I really need to go think about things. What keeps making sense?
I always make sense.
I mean,
When did I
Kinda
ever
like
steer you
lean-
wrong?
she sort of leans in a little and just like, did you sleep in a gutter?
No. Did we lose Dan? Is Dan frozen?
No.
No, Dan's there. Okay, okay.
Just
You were very
listening.
still. You were very
Sorry.
still.
Just listening. So presumably you end up back at Dark Basement to sort of regroup and plan and all of that fun stuff. And you're gonna have a week because it's actually a little more than a week because it's next weekend. So you got a week and a half until the party. So you've got a lot of time that you work your day jobs and do all that fun stuff.
Day jobs.
Yeah, those of you with day
Whatever
jobs
that
and
is.
income will actually add money to your resources.
Those
And
of us who can talk our way into other people's income will.
yeah. So I think that is a good place to end. And we'll talk for a few minutes about your characters and what you did and things that maybe brought you joy, and advanced your character arcs and things like that. And then we'll talk in the intervening before our next week. Things because you've got like a week of time, so we can play out some side scenes and things like that. So let's start with just what did your characters think? What happened? Was there anything that like made you feel sort of joyful or despairing at any point? Anything like that? And did you advance any on your character arcs?
I feel like I've been really pigeonholed on the path of fall from grace here with that fortune reading.
So great.
Especially considering that the final fall from grace thing is like, I'm pretty sure it's like you earn 3 points of despair. It is not possible to earn joy here.
Yeah.
And the card itself was like, you can read this as positive, but that's totally not the point. So like, I'm on the path now, and I love it.
Yeah.
So I love it as a player.
Yeah, for sure. Because, the fall from grace, Emma's not going to enjoy the fall from grace, which is why it's an interesting character arc to sort of take, because you're just setting up your character for pain and suffering. So, character arcs, 162. Let's see if they really sort of advanced any fall from grace. So you're opening, things go bad. Further descent, things get worse. So like did things get worse in terms of Emma, like in the process of falling from grace?
I don't think anything
She found this book. Is the book like a big temptation now that like Emma has opened it and seen some of what's inside?
Oh, temptation is not even the word. Like, she's taking that book. There's
Right.
like, in her mind, there's a 0% chance that it goes without at least running a rapid read on it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, yeah. And you know that you can't buy it. It is not, even if you had the money, it's not for sale to you
To me,
or presumably to any of your friends, right? Because Nora says if she suspected it was going to end up in the hands of a goetic, she wouldn't sell it. So I think given how much temptation Emma's experiencing, that is a step on her fall from grace. Because like temptation seems really inherent to that, to me. So I think that is worth an acumen.
All right.
And like, was there anything during play that, you know, made like you or Emma particularly, you know, happy or despairing? You had mentioned the card, and the card being played is sort of a...
I think she thinks it's all bullshit, but there's also that nagging thing in the back of her head, like, I don't like this. It's probably all bullshit. It's probably nonsense, but I don't like this.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's worth a despair.
Okay.
Point of despair. What about Alice?
I had a few thoughts that might fit in there. So I think Alice is actually pretty sad that someone came along and supposedly knew her story better than she did.
Okay.
Because her whole thing is she turns tales into reality and she wants to make this epic tale for herself.
Yeah.
Then someone came along and was like, I know what's going to happen to you.
Ooh, yeah. So someone got to like the chapter ahead of you in your own book.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
upsetting.
Okay. Yeah, that totally seems like something worthy of despair.
Okay. I was also thinking we started off where Alice was going to start crafting. Is that something we should think about now for like joy as a possibility? Because I definitely see that as part of her growth into crime.
Yeah, so the growth like along your character arcs is accumulates acumen.
Yeah.
And then usually, you know, it's pretty difficult in terms of like your character moments to gain both joy and despair in the same session. So I think a lot of the crafting would be something that if you do in the future will certainly bring you joy.
Okay.
But probably not yet because you haven't really done it yet. But how's Alice feeling about the growth into crime?
I think once it happens, she'll figure it out a bit more. But until the party, I think she's still at the same spot she was before.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That sounds good. All right. Annie, what about Henrietta?
Henry had a sort of weird reaction to the card that was given to her. Like, she kind of feels like, yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's just chance that card was given to her because it's just a random pull. But she can't help but like think about how it could apply to all these different aspects of her life, like with her job and with like her, you know, her weaving and like her forte and the debt that she owes. Like, she's trying to figure out like where this card might fit into like everything.
Okay.
And it's kind of filling her with like anxiety a little bit, rather than like, which is kind of the opposite of the card's intent. Like, she feels like if she makes a big decision, like it might just drive her further than she might want to go necessarily.
Right. So we're totally just playing despair everywhere. You get a despair.
Yeah, she's just like anxious, but like probably excited too. She hasn't really done anything. She really needs to go talk to the person she owes a debt to.
Yeah, so that's one of the things to keep in mind with the intention with Invisible Sun is that you as the players are sort of very much in the driver's seat, like with your character arcs. And so like what you decide to do in any given session should be more me reacting to you, which is also an adjustment for me, mostly coming from other games where that's a little bit less true. So I'm definitely always trying to keep that in mind, is that you guys are always in like really driving the narrative in terms of what to do. So yes, at any point, you can sort of take that initiative, or depending, like if it really just involves you, that's something we can always handle as a side scene as well in between sessions.
That might be good. Let's see. Yeah, and I think like she is also like excited, as it like the whole bookstore scene was just like really fun, and she's like happy that she got like this super cool advanced like copy of a book, even if it's like not very good.
Yeah, so you get the joy from the shift. So whenever I use GM shifts, that will bring someone joy or despair, and I'm supposed to sort of only do that a few times in a session. And then, but you've also got the despair from this wrap up in terms of how you felt about the cards. So you definitely have at least one joy and one despair at your disposal to combine into a crux, which you can spend on things.
I've got 2 of each.
You have 2 of each, so you actually have 2 crux. Yeah. And so crux will let you buy... You could advance in your order, which costs 1 crux per degree. Or advancing in your forte right now only costs 1 crux.
Ooh, I think I'd have to advance in my forte. Advancing in my order requires
some other things.
Spending a month with another weaver, which is another reason why she's anxious, because like maybe that means she's gonna find a really cool weaver to go hang out with, but like not in Saturnine. That might be exciting.
Yeah, it could be absolutely. And yeah, those
no.
Yeah, and those are absolutely all things to keep in mind in terms of sessions don't necessarily pick up right after each other, because we will often time jump, like people have been away doing things for a month. Like you guys getting up to adventures and shenanigans is the exception of your life, right?
Yeah.
You mostly do kind of normal things. You go to work, you bum around, whatever.
Sweet. Also, your cat is so cute.
Cute.
She's adorable. Cute. She's so tiny.
Oh, I love her.
All right, Sam, what about Lucky?
I don't think he had any chance to despair, so I'm just omitting that entirely. But I had a great time just coming in and being like, "Hey, so you invited us to that party," and she's like, "Oh right, I totally did. I just forgot. Sorry." And it worked. It worked again. Someday this is gonna blow up in my face, but it was not tonight.
Yeah.
We're also advancing Lucky's character arc, which is theft.
Right.
Obviously, because everything we're doing right now is leading up to stealing. So.
Yeah. So absolutely, I think that although it's not your ultimate objective, right?
No,
your ultimate objective your ultimate objective for your character arc is to thieve a house.
Oh, I was gonna keep that a secret. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I want to steal a house. I want to steal an entire house. Because that's totally attainable. But so I think only joy this session. I didn't really have any despair, or even my card draw was more like, okay, cool, power, right? He doesn't. And it's funny to not believe in stuff like this in a world of like pure magic, but I don't know. He's a skeptic, I guess.
No, for sure. And usually with these wrap ups, sort of the joy or despair, whichever's stronger, kind of trumps the other one typically. But I think definitely an acumen for advancing on your character arc, because you case the joint you're going to steal from.
I did.
Yeah. And I think your whole like pulling a fast one with the like you totally invited us where this is the first time you've really done it in the game, that is worth a joy.
So 2 joy or 1 joy?
Just
one
the
joy
one
and
joy.
1 acumen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 joy and 1 acumen.
Cool. Yeah, that felt good. I love playing this character.
Definitely had like the best, like you and Alex both had the best rolls of the night. I had to roll and I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Sad.
Well, and to circle back, because Emma triggered a magical flux, which was our first time of that happening. Yeah. So tonight when Emma goes to sleep, she has like horrific nightmares all night long.
Oh no.
God.
So that was your magical flux that really just kind of like got into your head. And it seemed appropriate that the card had something to deal with like insanity, and like opening the book or inspecting the book was what triggered the flux. So yeah, unfortunately Emma had a real bad night. Terrible nightmares.
Maybe her cat helped.
Yeah, the minor fluxes are pretty minor, like milk near you spoiled, and they're like pretty like just a short term kind of thing. They don't they're not as bad as wild magic surges, but you can get major fluxes and things like that some fluxes, if they're potent enough, can be like permanent effects in like the city.
God.
So all right, excellent. So that sounds great. So we'll leave it there. At MadsIDM, you can follow on Variant Roles. There should be a link for our Patreon below, our YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us here on the channel if you do that. Subscribe if you're so inclined. Those are all great ways of supporting us. So we've got Invisible Sun here on most Saturday nights. We're doing it sort of, like 3 weeks at a time, and then take a little time off and do some other things and come back, so that we don't tie up our players for every Saturday night of their life, because that would be awful. At least some of these people have lives. I don't.
This is like my perfect Saturday night, staying in and playing games.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah.
Leaving the houses for chumps.
That's right. But yes, so most Saturday nights we'll be back next week. And then we'll have a bit of a brief break because we've got to fit some of our Dragon Heist games in on a Saturday night just to make our schedule work. So we'll be off for at least 2 weeks, and then we'll talk about what we're doing after that. And so you can also find us Monday nights at 9 Eastern, Wednesday nights at 8 Eastern, and Saturday afternoons at 2 Eastern as we run multiple Dungeons of the Mad Mage. And, random other stuff in Cypher and other games that we occasionally slot in the channel. So following us on Twitter here is the best way to stay informed. So why doesn't everyone go around and remind everyone where they can find you and promo anything you need to promo? And we'll start with Alex.
You can find me on Twitter on @axolotl_pure. Have nothing to promo because I'm still in school and I'm suffering. Well, nothing to promo aside from being on here, which you already know about.
Excellent. Great. Corey.
True. I'm in the same spot. My promo is this show right now. That's what I'm doing, and I like it. So there's that going on, and it's great. My Twitter is Corey Hickson, same as my name. And yeah, short and sweet. That's me.
Great. Annie.
Yeah, you can find me at Alphabet Seeds, and I play this game. Everyone should try to be on a Variant Roles game.
Absolutely.
That should be a goal for 2019 for
29. Yeah. Yeah. If you're
everyone
ever. Yeah, we want to get all of Twitter on here.
Every Twitter person, if you've ever thought like, hey, what might be cool to pretend to be someone else and roll dice, determine what happens. Play on this channel.
I wish I could roll dice and determine what happens.
Right?
Annie,
Right?
you're the best hype woman.
Thank you.
We're just gonna
Uh,
unleash you on Twitter.
Yeah. Also, buy Sam's art. Just buy
Yes.
Sam's art.
Yes.
Buy my art.
That's my thing. You'll just see me tweeting about this game and Sam's art,
Excellent.
other things. That's my thing.
Well, and anyone who loves our fantastic overlay,
Oh yeah.
this was all Sam.
I do overlay too.
Yes. Excellent. So on that note, Sam, back from Winter Fantasy.
Yeah. I don't recommend driving 100 miles and then jumping straight onto a stream right after 2 days of doing convention work. But I didn't want to miss it either. Like, I was really concerned. When we left late, I was like, oh no, I want to get home and play Invisible Sun. So know that I love you guys very much and I really wanted to play. So I'm glad that I made it on in time. I had to like eat dinner while I'm playing, but totally worth it. I am on Twitter as 65th Victor, and I only have art to promote right now. I do commission work, and you can find a picture of Lucky on Twitter if you haven't seen it, but I have a feeling you probably have. Maybe. I'm really sleepy.
Aren't we all?
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, and I'm the one that it's the latest for, but I'm feeling all jazzed up. All right. So on that note, we will leave you. Thanks all of us who stuck around for our goodbyes, and we'll see you soon. So, bye.